Welcome back, guys. In this video we're going to change the bearings and repack them with new grease. So this is how you do it on the MK1 Golf. Hey guys, welcome back. So failed the NCT, which is the same as the MOT on the rear hubs. As you can guess it, yeah, they said they were loose and they were making noise, so I'm going to spin it. I'm still not convinced they're actually gone. I think what the guy or the tester was hearing was actually the brake shoes rubbing off the brake drum. I don't think the actual bearing is gone. He claimed it was. I honestly don't think it was. So what we're going to do instead is going to take out the bearings, repack them with grease, give them a good inspection first, then repack them with grease and see how bad they really are. So the first job is obviously to jack up the car, take the wheel off. Now we're going to try to get this center cap out. What we do is get the chisel and just tap it here. Mine has dents in it, yours may not, so you may have to go further back into that little groove there. Just really gently tap it with a hammer, just keep turning it and eventually it'll walk out and we'll get it off. Okay, so we have the cap off. What we're met with is a split pin, then a castle nut, and behind that is an ordinary nut. The castle nut is like a fake nut, it fits over the nut behind it, and it just allows the nut actually to be locked up using the split pin. So we're going to remove all of that, see how bad the bearing is actually behind it, and at the very worst we'll give it a wash and repack it with new grease. I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with it, but let's see. So just after taking off the split pin and the castle nut and this nut here, it was nice and tight, and I just wanted to see, could I tighten it more? You could tighten it a little bit more and then it would still rotate, but I don't know. I think if you have them too tight then as well, you just end up going through the bearing too fast or you damage the bearing. So we're going to take this off now and see how bad it is. Oh yeah, always make sure your brakes are off, because if you pull the handbrake, it won't come off. There's the bearing. I don't know. Maybe just pack with new grease. Still not even convinced there's anything even wrong with this. But he said, oh, you won't hear it over the sound of the exhaust when the car's running and the fuel pump, you won't hear it. But when you spin those wheels, they're making an awful lot of noise. You can hear them grinding and they're worn. I was like, I still don't think they are. I think what he was hearing was the brake drums and the brake shoes rubbing off the brake drums. I mean, that's it there. We'll give it a wash. We'll pack with lithium grease and put it back together again. There's another bearing in behind that as well. We've do that one as well. Okay, that's the two bearings. They've both been washed out with diesel in the parts washer, and then a bit of brake cleaner just to break down any residue that's left, and I've blown them out with compressed air. So they're both lovely and clean. Now time to repack them with grease. So how do you repack a bearing? So what you do is put a big load of grease into your hand and you push it in like that. So basically the grease is going in this side and you'll see the excess grease coming out here. And when it starts coming out here, you keep rotating it all the way around till the bearing is packed. You don't just put grease on the outside because there's nothing on the inside. So that's why you put a big dollop of grease in your hand and you will drive it into it. So I have to show this without any grease because I have to operate the camera as well and I don't want the camera covered in grease. So, okay, grease. I'll be able to do a bit of this. Alright, that's it. That. Just clean it away again. You start to see the grease just coming out there. So now that that's coming out, we just go around again. Okay, that's the drum there. It's all lovely and clean here, and inside the races it's all lovely and clean. Ideally, if you had new bearings, you put new races in. They're really easy to hit out. So you can see there's a little gap just there, so that's where you drive the inside one out, and then you just flip it around and there's a line. There it is, there, down there. And you'd hit the chisel in there, and on the upside you'd hit the two inner races out. So now you'd replace them just like we did. Now we have our bearings, which are freshly repacked, and we're going to install them next. So I'm going to install the bigger bearing first. So once it's in, I can put the seal in on top of it. That'll hold it in place, and then flip the whole drum around and put the smaller bearing in next after that. So I'll join you in a second. It's ready to go onto the hub. Okay, we're pretty much on the home straight now. So number one thing, clean, clean, clean. Keep everything clean. So the outside of the drum here, try and keep any grease out of it. So use brake cleaner and keep it all nice and shiny and free of any grease. And in the center, before I put on the inner bearing, or the small bearing I should say, I packed a load of grease in between the two bearings as well. So maybe centrifugal force will fire it out and keep it packed with grease. But that's it now on. Okay, next up is the washer with the little locating tab on it, which I think goes that way. Yeah, that's that in. Next is the big nut, and that'll go on next. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tighten it and spin the hub at the same time and try and set some sort of preload. I have no idea how to actually set the preload correctly, but what I do is keep spinning it till it locks up and then reverse it a little bit. And spin it more, make sure that it's not locking up, tighten it a little bit more because it will kind of bed in better, and then lock it up and then back it off a little bit as well. So then basically what you're doing is locking up the hub so it doesn't move and then just releasing the pressure. But you do it twice because any grease is kind of in between it, so you're just trying to release the pressure of the grease. So I'll do it 2 or 3 times maybe. Okay, I hate guessing it, but if you can spin it and it just moves, I think that's enough. Where if I tighten that more, it'll still turn, but you're putting more effort into turning it, where that has a little bit of free play to it as well. So I'm going to call that the right preload on it. And now to do it all again on the opposite side, but first we're going to put our caster nut on and then the roll pin. I'm not going to smother this in grease because I don't think it does anything. I think all it does is makes a huge mess afterwards. So any excess grease can come out here, but I'm not going to put excess grease out here. But I think that's enough. What do you guys think? Do you think that's enough or not? Because if I tighten that more, it'll take more effort to spin it, and basically there's no like kind of free play in it. It's basically whatever I push it around is how much it goes around by. Okay, I have everything back together again, and I have the center cap back on. And I think that's perfect. There's no kind of play that I can feel in it. I put the wheel on, maybe go for maybe a few kilometers of a spin. Maybe there'd be a little play in it then, and just a matter of topping that off, tighten up the caster nut by even just 1 turn, put it back together again. But so far, I think that's absolutely a win. Did it need to be done? I honestly don't think it did, but no harm to have fresh grease now into it either. Okay, so guys, thanks very much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe over there, and as always guys, thanks for watching. See you later.